The Red Sox are certainly happy to be home as the fans make their way in on Yawkey Way for Game 1 of a 4-game series between the Cleveland Indians and the Boston Red Sox. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Jerry Remy. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. Well, the Red Sox had a very difficult trip, going just 2-7 and scoring 1 run in the last 3 games in Baltimore. And Jerry, it was a tough trip, especially offensively.
Well, it was, and John Farrell was asked about that this afternoon. What was the biggest problem on the road trip? And he said obviously it was the offense, and you can see by the numbers that the offense on the trip was not good at all. They only averaged 227 as a team. 2.5 runs per game with runners in scoring position, 163. It goes on and on and on and on. And, you know, that's one of the biggest reasons the Red Sox were unable to pick up any ground on the Toronto Blue Jays through this long streak that they were just on, this long road trip. Now they hope coming back to Fenway Park with the green wall, the green grass, that things get a little better for them here offensively at home. They have to get better.
Now the Red Sox are hoping for that as they open up a 4-game series against these Cleveland Indians. And on the mound, they'll send their ace. Jon Lester's on the hill. He's 6-7 with a 3.57 earned run average, 6-1 in his career against the Indians, hoping that continues tonight. We're back with more from Fenway right after this. Four-game series with the Cleveland Indians. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Well, the Red Sox endured a very difficult trip. Not only late hours arriving, rain delays, and more importantly, losses. The Red Sox going just 2-7 on their lengthy 3-city tour, and the offense really did not perform well. And that means not only top to bottom, but their stars have underperformed. If you look at last year compared to this year as to where they were at this time a year ago, it is fairly dramatic. A 328 average last year for the Red Sox second baseman Dustin Pedroia at 271 at this point. And of course, Big Papi David Ortiz was hitting a cool 320 last year. This year at 252. With more on this very topic, here's Gary Streisky.
Yeah, Don, you got to rewind the clock back a couple of decades. The last time the Red Sox only managed 1 run in a 3-game series. Fortunately for them, this go-around, they were actually able to salvage a win. You had David Ortiz with a bail-me-out home run in the 9th inning to also salvage a win against Detroit before they moved on to Baltimore. And Dustin Pedroia there batting before David Ortiz in that 3-hole. Of course, the offense should go through them and could go through them, but as John Farrell explains on our Geico quote of the day, it can't stop there.
We need every guy in our lineup. It's not just focused on those 2 guys. We need everyone to pass the baton and work as a group. And when we've done that, we've been a very good offensive team. And yet a lot of people are going to focus on David and Petey. When they drive people in, sure, we were on a good streak of 7 straight wins. But we need every guy up and down that lineup to play their part.
So, of course, Dustin Pedroia and David Ortiz hoping to get the offense going today. And Xander Bogaerts on the bench. John Farrell replacing him with Daniel Nava, who has been swinging a hotter bat than most as of late. So hopefully generating some offense for the Red Sox from Nava's bat today.
All right, Gary, thanks very much. Well, the Red Sox under cloud-covered Fenway Park open up this 4-game series with the Tribe. It's coming your way next. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Toyota's website for deals by Toyota.com. Dunkin' Donuts. Your Ford dealers of New England. PaulRudine.com. Celebrity golf instruction and much more. And by your New England Subaru dealers. Now back here in Boston, it is cloud covered and it is 66 degrees as we start this game tonight. Breeze in from right field at 11 miles per hour, and has been the case for the last couple of weeks for the Red Sox. Every night there's a chance of showers, and that is certainly the case here tonight in Boston, as right now it is cloud covered here at Fenway Park. The lights are on and the Red Sox have returned home and hoping to turn around their luck here a little bit as well and try to get the offense going tonight against the Cleveland Indians team that is here now for 4 games. The Red Sox getting in very early this morning after the rain delay last night that took place in the finale against the O's, and ended up being shut out by the O's in 2 of the 3 games and scoring just the 1 run in the series. As tonight starts, the Red Sox find themselves 9 games back of the Toronto Blue Jays. Baltimore 4.5 back, tied with New York, and Tampa Bay now 14 games back as John Lester leads his team onto the field. As he does, let's check out the Cleveland Indians starting 9 tonight. Michael Bourne is in center field leading it off with Asdrubal Cabrera at shortstop batting second. Michael Brantley is in left field. Jason Kipnis in the cleanup spot, the second baseman, with Carlos Santana, who was on the DL with a concussion the last time the Red Sox were in Cleveland. He's back in there. Ryan Rayburn is in right field. Also activated, Nick Swisher is the DH off the disabled list. Yan Gomes does the catching, bat safe, and former Red Sox infielder and outfielder Mike Aviles at third base bats ninth. Tonight's Red Sox starting pitcher is presented by New England Audi dealers. Experience the all-new 2015 Audi A3 today. John Lester's 14th start of the year comes in with a 6-7 mark, 3.52 earned run average, 95 strikeouts, and 23 walks, and opponents hitting at 263. Very good numbers against the Tribe in 13 starts. He is 6-1 against Cleveland with a 3.43 earned run average.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. They are 8th in the league with 37 errors in 65 games. Brock Holt will be at third base. Jonathan Herrera, the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. Mike Napoli, the first baseman. Left to right, Daniel Nava, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Grady Sizemore. And David Ross doing the catching for John Lester.
Well, the umpiring crew tonight, Eric Cooper has the play calling the balls and strikes with the crew chief Tom Hallion at first base. Sean Barber is the umpire at second, and Chris Guccione the umpire at third. Now, fans, you can test your Red Sox IQ right now with the MLB Pre-Play mobile app. Download for free and start predicting every at-bat of every Red Sox game all season. Tonight, Pre-Play predicts John Lester will go 6 innings, allowing 3 earned runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, and strike out 8. Now, Michael Bourne about to step in here to get it started. A speedy center fielder for the Indians. Cleveland coming in at an even 500 there, 33 and 33, and have lost their last 2 games after going on a pretty good run. And they're 2.5 games back of the Tigers in the American League Central, with Kansas City in between, 2 games back. Lester ready to start this ball game as he peers in for a sign. First pitch of the game is in there for strike 1, and we're underway. Michael Bourne at 284 with 2 homers and 16 runs batted in. Wild swing and a miss there. He's down 0-2.
And cut fastball for the second pitch of the game from John Lester, and a wild swing there by Michael Bourne.
Bourne, a 2-time National League All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove Award winner, and a quick strikeout to begin the night for John Lester.
Well, he saw a fastball, a cut fastball, and a curveball to put him away. There's the curveball down and away, just about in the same spot as the cut fastball. And Lester picks up his first strikeout of the night. Did not have a strikeout in his last outing against the Tigers.
K-Man adding a K up there, the first of the night for Lester. Strikeouts per 9 innings. Lester at 10.14. Yu Darvish, Max Scherzer, and Kurt Kluber, who we will see in the series. As Drupal Cabrera hacking at the first pitch, fouls it back. He's second among American League shortstops in home runs with 14. Cabrera, then Brantley here in the inning. There's a pop-up right side of the infield that has Napoli waiting on it. Now a little stagger step, but he makes the grab for the second out of the inning. Well, baseball is back in season, so gather 20 or more of your friends, family, and coworkers for a group outing at Fenway and secure exclusive access to seats. Call 617-226-6835 or visit redsox.com/groups for more information. Now, Terry Francona's team coming in, having lost their last 2 games, and on the road this year have had a tough time. They are 12 and 22 away from Progressive Field, and 2.5 games back of the Tigers in the AL Central right now with their 33 wins.
Well, that's a division that really tightened up, didn't it?
Yes.
Looked like the Tigers were going to run away with things, and everybody's got a shot.
And there for strike 1 to Michael Brantley. 310, 10 homers, 43 runs batted in for Brantley. Let's take a look at the John Lester key matchup. Michael Brantley has struck out 7 times in 11 career at-bats against Lester. This key matchup has been brought to you by People's United Bank, where John Lester does his banking. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a foul tip held on to by David Ross for strike 3. Second K for Lester. Red Sox coming up from the fence. starting pitcher, presented to you by your New England Nissan dealers. Josh Tomlin makes his 7th start of the year, 4-2, 3.12 earned run average, 35 Ks to 5 walks, and opponents hitting at .214 against Josh Tomlin on the hill. As Brock Holt leads it off here for the Red Sox and takes strike one. For Tomlin, Saturday against the Texas Rangers, 8 innings, 3 runs. Picked up the win, 5 strikeouts, no walks. Holt will take strike 2.
He's a guy that's coming off surgery a couple of years ago. They reconstructed his right elbow. As we look at the numbers for Brock Holt, 331 coming into the game, but pretty good comeback by Josh Tomlin.
He spent 2013 rehabbing it. Here's a pop-up right around the mound. And from third comes Aviles to make the catch for the first out. Let's check out the Red Sox starting 9 tonight. Just saw Brock Holt. He's at third base tonight, with Bogaerts getting the beginning of the game off. Dustin Pedroia at second base. David Ortiz, the DH. But Mike Napoli at first base. Daniel Nava is in left field. Grady Sizemore is in right, with David Ross doing the catching. Jonathan Herrera at shortstop bats 8th, and Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field bats 9th. One out here in the bottom of the first inning for Pedroia. And he'll take strike 1.
You notice that Xander Bogaerts was not in the lineup tonight. Nothing wrong with him, just a night off. Red Sox in a stretch of a lot of games and a lot of days.
Fouled off. Pedroia down 0-2. There's Bogaerts starting the game on the bench tonight for Boston. Josh Tomlin on the hill tonight for the Indians, 1-1 with a 7.17 earned run average in 4 career appearances. 3 starts against Boston. One-two fouled off again to the right, out of play. Well, Saturday on Dining Playbook, Billy Costa and Jenny Johnson come to you from Steffi's on Tremont. Xander Bogaerts tells us his favorite burrito spot in Boston, and John Lackey explains his pregame meal, which includes a classic sandwich. Catch all that and more on Dining Playbook this Saturday at 9 a.m. 1-2 pitch and a breaking ball fouled back as Pedroia stays alive.
Now, so far we've seen the fastball, the cut fastball, curveball, and he also has a changeup.
David Ortiz waiting on deck. Red Sox batting here in the bottom of the first inning. Pedroia on the ground to his counterpart. Tough hop. Kipnis stays with it and has time to still get Pedroia. That thing exploded on him and was able to knock it down before throwing Pedroia out.
Now, the Cleveland defense is last in the American League. They've made 61 errors on the season. It'll be Mike Aviles at third base, as Drupal Cabrera, the shortstop, Jason Kipnis at second, and Carlos Santana, the first baseman. Left to right, Michael Brantley, Michael Bourne, and Ryan Rayburn, and Yan Gomes doing the catching for Tomlin.
2 down, bases empty here for David Ortiz. Indians going to the shift on the right side on Big Papi. And it's to the shortstop. Right side, Cabrera throws out Big Papi, and it ends the first. 1-2-3 go the Sox. We're scoreless after 1. And it'll be Jason Kipnis, Carlos Santana, and Ryan Rayburn expected to bat here for the Indians, as Kipnis, their second baseman, their cleanup hitter. Lester had a 1-2-3 first with 2 strikeouts, and a strike 1 to Kipnis. 3 homers, 19 runs batted in for Kipnis. Down 0-2.
And you've had a start like John Lester had his last time out. Those days in between starts are very long, and you can't wait to get back and make your next one.
He's throwing strikes. He's throwing 10 pitches, has 10 strikes. And just as I say it, he misses away. 1-2. Kipnis, an all-star for the first time in his career last year. Strikes out. That's the third K for Lester. He's got it going on. 1 down. Let's send it down to Gary Streisky.
Guys, the new Scion TC with tonight's poll question: which team will win the World Cup? How about Sox 1 for Argentina, Sox 2 for host nation Brazil, Sox 3 for Germany, Sox 4 for Spain, my native South Korea left off the list. I'm a little bit bitter, but I'll digress. Text your answer to 536-536. Message and data rates, those may apply. Text help if you need it. Visit NESN.com/terms for all the fun legal stuff, guys.
Of course, underway today, and Jeremy going with Brazil because they are the host country.
I'm going to pick Brazil, but there's tremendous amount of pressure on them because they are the host country in that.
Carlos Santana batting with 1 out. It's a pop-up left side. Holt and Herrera. It'll be Brock Holt stepping into foul ground to make the catch. 2 down.
Now, right now, John Lester featuring a very good fastball, 93, 94 with it, finding the corners and getting some strikeouts and quick outs.
And Lester wants a new baseball as they get ready to deal with Ryan Rayburn, the former Detroit Tiger, about to bat here. 210, a homer, and 14 runs batted in. As a non-roster invitee, signed to a 2-year extension last August. 16 home runs last year, 4th on the club in that category a year ago. Jumps back out of the way of a pitch running inside. Seven-game homestand for the Red Sox. Indians and Twins will be here. In there for a strike, 1-1. It jammed and pops it up left side. Here comes Holt again, and he'll put it away. To end the top of the second inning, Lester's retired the first 6 he's faced. Napoli will lead it off. Scoreless as we head to the home half of the second inning. High atop Fenway Park as Mike Napoli digs in. Guess what, Jerry?
I know your friend's back.
Our favorite camera is back. I don't know where it's been. I don't know why it's back, but it's back.
Yeah, it did disappear for a long time, right?
I mean, this is June the 12th, game number 66 of the year, and here it is. There it is. Back in the booth.
In your grill.
Like it never left. Right in my face. 1-0 pitch is in there for a strike. 1-1. Napoli at 262, 6 homers and 24 runs batted in. One for 10 in the series against the Orioles, but he's not alone in that category as far as the offense went for Boston. Ground this foul. On base percentage leaders, Zay Bautista on top, 434. The former Indian Shin-Soo Choo, 397. Mike Napoli in there at 4th. This one fouled down the right field line, out of play. Still 1-2. Center fielder Michael Bourne over towards right center for Napoli to go the other way. Chop foul outside of third. We'll celebrate the 2013 World Champion Red Sox with Hood Champions Ice Cream. The ice cream your family loves and the team you cheer for, all in one delicious scoop. Pick up Hood's Champions today. Down low for ball 2, 2-2. Nine-year-old Josh Tomlin on the hill tonight for the Indians. On the ground left side as Cabrera goes to the backhand. His throw is low and not dug out by Santana. Off the glove, and Napoli's on to begin things here in the second inning. First base runner for either side.
Well, no help from Santana at first base. He could not pick this ball out of the dirt, so Cabrera's probably going to pick up his 12th error of the season. That one hop to first base bounces off the side of the glove of Santana, and Napoli's safe at first. We mentioned the Indians not a good defensive ball club.
Lowest percentage in Major League Baseball. The error is charged to Cabrera, so E6 allows Napoli to reach, and here is Nava. 168, 2 homers, 3 runs batted in. Getting the start tonight in left field. Brock Holt moving back to third base tonight as Nava takes ball 1. So he's done well against the Indians. 410 career average against Cleveland. Nava was off for the finale of the Orioles series yesterday and went 1 for 5 against Baltimore. Strike called, 1-1.
Cut fastball that time about knee high. John Farrell was asked today, what could he do as a manager to jumpstart the offense? And he said, well, we can't. He says we can't run guys that can't run. We can't, there's certain guys that we can hit and run with. He says, well, basically, they've got to come out of it on their own. They've got to start having better at bats.
To right field, and Nava's got a base hit. Napoli will touch second. He's headed for third. Throw from Rayburn. He's headed there, and Napoli's going to be safe. Looked like the throw beat him, but Napoli avoids the tag. Good throw by Rayburn in right field.
Yeah, very good throw by Rayburn in right field, and I don't know how Napoli was safe on that. The Vilas must have had to miss the tag at third base. Line shot by Daniel Nava, and is Napoli being very aggressive. Throw beats him. He comes back, but Napoli gets to that bag. I guess it was a little bit off target toward the outfield side of third base. There it is. And by the time he sweeps back, Napoli's in safe at third base. Very strong throw, but just off about 2 feet to the outfield side of third base.
First and third, nobody out here in the second inning. Into this error will give the Red Sox an opportunity to jump on top, the one that starts the inning. And here's Grady Sizemore, the former Indian, at .220 with 2 homers and 14 runs batted in. There's ball 1. Napoli reached on the air. Navas singles. First and third, nobody out. A check on Nava, back to the bag easily.
Nava with a couple of steals on the season, has not been caught.
Fly ball lifted foul down the left field line, out of play. Napoli getting instruction from Brian Butterfield at third base. Nava crossed the diamond at first with nobody out. To right field and deep for Sizemore. Rayburn going back. It's going to be over his head. And that'll one-hop the wall into the bullpen. 1 run will score. The Red Sox take a 1-0 lead. Ground rule double for Grady Sizemore, and it's 1-0 Boston.
That ball hit very hard by Sizemore. A cut fastball that quickly gets up over the head of Ryan Rayburn and one hop into the Indians bullpen. Actually a bad break for the Red Sox that it goes in the bullpen, because they would have scored another run on this. Instead, men have to stop at second and third because of the ground rule double. The Red Sox do take advantage of the mistake, the error by Cabrera.
The second and third now with still nobody out. And here's David Ross. After back-to-back starts for A.J. Pierzynski, Ross back in there tonight as he catches John Lester. He'll take ball 1. .176, 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. The error kind of opened the door here for the Red Sox to begin the inning, now trying to take advantage. Swing and a miss for Ross on a pitch down and away.
And 2 pitches in almost the exact same spot to David Ross, down and away like that. And actually in this situation, Ross should be thinking about going to the opposite field. If you get a base hit, you knock in 2. If you get the ball on the ground in the infield, you bring home 1 and get another man at third base.
Ball 2, 2-1. So where Ross's outfield hits go, and chance here to come up with a big hit, something the Red Sox could not get at all in the 3-game series against the Orioles. Tomlin falls behind 3-1.
No, I'd say all bets are off here. 3 balls, 1 strike. Look for something middle in, and maybe you can drive over that left field wall.
Ball 4, and he walks David Ross. Down to first base goes Ross to load the bases. Well, NESN is about to change the way you look at sports. Get ready for a fresh point of view that takes you beyond the game and teams you love. It's NESN Live, an all-new show that hits on top of sports stories of the day and gives you a chance to interact by adding your voice to the conversation. NESN Live, presented by Cross Insurance, premieres on Wednesday at 5:30.
What day is today?
Today is Thursday.
Oh, so next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Jonathan Herrera with the bases loaded, nobody out. He'll take strike 1.
Well, we all know that Herrera loves to bunt with the bases loaded, but the fact is, with the bases loaded, with a man on third, he likes to bunt. With the bases loaded, it's a little bit different because it's a force play at home plate.
Now Yan Gomes out to talk to Tomlin here.
It's been confusing, Don, all the late nights we've had in the...
I don't know what day it is, to be honest.
Rain delays, 10-day road trip, whatever. I don't know what day it is. Thursday. And then we got the 4-game series, which is weird, which starts on a Thursday here.
To be honest with you, I thought it was Friday.
Yeah. Well, it's not. No, now you know it's Thursday. Now I know it's Thursday.
And I know we're in Boston because you said there's green grass and a green wall.
You like
as
that?
Part of the Open. Yeah, that was pretty good. Was that the Open or view from the booth?
That was the Open.
Open.
Yep.
One pitch. Herrera takes strike 2. At the bottom of the zone. Herrera didn't think so.
Still shaking his head, but looked like a pretty good pitch. Let's take a look in the Amica pitch zone, and yeah, it was a good pitch.
Offensively slapping at that, fouling it off.
It's a good foul ball by Herrera, if there is such a thing, because that call could have gone either way.
He's been good with runners in scoring position. 7 runs batted in. Bases filled with Red Sox, nobody out. And here's a 1-2. On the ground, picked at first by Santana, comes home for 1, back to first for 2. Big double play there, turned by the Indians.
Well, when you talk about the Indians being a bad defensive club, they make a fine play here. Carlos Santana at first base. Nobody rushing anything. Santana gets it to Yan Gomes. Yan Gomes steps on home plate, clears himself for the runner, gets it back to first base, and they pick up the double play.
So second and third now, and here's Jackie Bradley Jr. out of the number 9 spot. Well, Tomlin can get out of all of this, giving up just the 1 run, then he has really minimized the damage. Red Sox have the bases loaded, nobody out. Now 2 down, second and third, and there's ball 1. Bradley just up over 200 at 201 with a home run. 21 runs batted in. 4 for 22 on the last road trip for the Red Sox. Ball and a strike. .280 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, 9 RBIs. He's got Sizemore at third, Ross at second, and 2 down. Foul back, 1-2. Liverpool Football Club returns to Fenway Park to face AS Roma on Wednesday, July 23rd. The match will feature two of the most prominent clubs in European football, setting the stage for an exciting rematch at Fenway Park. Tickets are on sale now. Go to redsox.com/football at Fenway to get your tickets for this great match today. 1-2 pitch to Bradley Jr. And a check swing went according to the home plate umpire, Eric Cooper. He's not even going to check. He's going to ring him up. And the Red Sox get one run out of this. They lead it 1-0 at the end of 2.
Lead, and Jackie Bradley Jr. is still upset over this last call. I don't think he did go on this. And they called him for swinging. Did Cooper, the home plate umpire, and it didn't look like a swing from that angle.
Certainly close enough to have checked at third base and not made the call himself.
That's what Bradley wanted him to do, just check with third base.
There is Nick Swisher, lead it off. Yan Gomes, Mike Aviles. Scheduled bat, bottom third of the Indians order. A pitch inside. Nick Swisher hitting at .211, 3 homers and 19 runs batted in. Well, Nick Swisher is hitting at .321, 17 for 53 against John Lester, part of our Chevy key player. Indians getting back Santana and Swisher this week. Swisher grounds it foul, 2-1.
And two players that were not in the lineup last week when the Red Sox got swept by the Indians in Cleveland.
He went around, and it's 2-2. Could not hold up. And that call came from Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire.
Cut fastball there from John Lester, and that time Swisher did go around. He knew it.
Strike 3 call right on that outside corner. 4th strikeout for John Lester.
Now 3 of the 4 strikeouts for Lester have come on his fastball. He got Brantley on a fastball, Kipnis on a fastball, and Swisher on a fastball. Braun, the leadoff man, was on a curveball. Nasty location right there by John Lester.
Seven in a row retired by Lester. There's Yan Gomes hitting at .261, 7 homers, 22 runs batted in. Frame there for home plate umpire Eric Cooper, but called the ball. Biting down and in. I'm talking about the outing last time out for Lester. After back-to-back wins in Atlanta and at home against Tampa Bay, the loss at Detroit against the Tigers, giving up 5 runs in 4 1/3. First game without a strikeout since 2011. Out of the gate tonight, looking impressive again against a team that he's done very well against in his career. To right center field, and this will get in for a base hit as Sizemore plays it on a couple of hops. Yan Gomes, the first batter to reach you tonight for the Indians. Well, Jerry, while we were away, we didn't have this. No, we missed this. And it's back at Fenway Park, and so is Wally. Glad to have his team back here. I'm sure while we're gone, he doesn't get this kind of participation, you know, with nobody here.
But he's out there practicing every day without question. All the greats practice all the time, sometimes double sessions. The moves haven't changed. They're basically the same.
And there's 2 of them.
Yes. And then, well, 3 if you count the boiler roll.
One down, Gomes at first. Mike Aviles the batter. First time Lester has had to operate from the stretch tonight. And it's grounded up over the mound. Could be 2. Pedroia will touch second. Fire to first. It is. 4-3 on the DP. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. 1-0 Red Sox. We'll get you a new view. Presented by Budweiser tomorrow at 5:30. Be sure to visit Lucky Strike before every Red Sox game in June. Fans 21 and over can participate. Budweiser, great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Now it's on to the bottom of the third inning back at Fenway Park. Red Sox have a 1-0 advantage. And Brock Holt to lead it off, top of the Red Sox order here in the third. Tomlin has to be pleased with getting out of that inning in the second, giving up only the 1 run. And giving up a run, and the Red Sox got the bases loaded, but a double play and a strikeout, and he was out of it. 40th pitch, he'll run inside, 2-0.
See Tomlin on the mound when he puts the ball in his glove, how he kind of wiggles his fingers and his hand, and that's okay as long as he's mixing his pitches up. Some guys will look for anything that might tip off pitches, but he does it on all kind of variety of pitches, so it's really nothing to pick up.
Runs over the corner and evens the count at 2-2. Brock Holt had his 10-game hitting streak come to a halt last night on his 26th birthday at Camden Yards in Baltimore. Could not muster a hit last night. Went 0 for 4. Now drives one to left, foul and out of play. Hit at .413 during the 10-game hitting streak that came to an end. And as it stands, he's now hit safely in 19 of his last 22 games at .351 over the last 22 tilts. And into right field to start a new streak for Brock Holt. Third hit of the night for Boston starts the bottom of the third inning. Well, Jerry, when we were in Baltimore, I showed you the press box at Camden Yards, so it's only right that we show the press box here at Fenway Park, which we have not done yet this year. This is where the writers are housed, a little bit to the left of home plate. That is the middle row of 3 tiers of the press box. And there's the bottom row where most of the regular beat writers are here in Boston. And a pretty good view for all of the writers in our press box here at Fenway Park. And there it is from the outside. It's actually 4 tiers. You look up top.
Yeah, it gets all filled up for game time.
Yeah, Don's view took place at about 2:45 this afternoon. That's why there was not much activity in there today.
You're falling into a trap now with these press boxes. We just had one yesterday, didn't we?
Well, we did, but my whole point was I showed Baltimore, so I felt like I haven't shown Fenway's yet, and I felt like I needed to.
Well, folks, if you'd like to send in a video and get it on our broadcast, text 536-536, keyword Jerry. If you're sitting home tonight or at the ballpark and you want to get it on TV, 536-536, keyword Jerry.
1-0 pitch is down low, 2-0. And again, please shoot your video horizontally. I'm sure he is right now.
That's quite a lid he's got on.
So this is wrong. He needs to be the other way, sideways. Michael Bourne, the center fielder, over to right center for Pedroia, who's ahead 2-0. Drives one to deep left field for Pedroia, down the line, but it is foul just to the left of the pole. Had the distance, but to the left of the pole for Pedroia.
Yeah, Pedroia got the barrel of the bat out on a fastball right there from Tomlin, and just going foul down that left field line.
He's taking it pretty hard.
Yeah, he is. He thought for sure that ball was going to be out of here. Hey, maybe this pitch, you never know.
Over to first and back to the bag is Holt. Pedroia grounding out to second base in the first inning, 0 for 1. And as far as home runs go on the year, so far 3 for Pedroia. Line caught, and this will be 2. Santana will just tag the bag. That's the kind of luck the Red Sox have been running into. Yep. Double plays in 2 in 3 innings tonight.
You're exactly right. I mean, Pedroia hits a ball down the left field line, crushes it, and just goes foul by a couple of feet. Then he has a line shot right at the first baseman, Carlos Santana. Nothing Holt can do. He's going to be doubled up at first base. That's the way it's been going. And look out.
Two down, David Ortiz. 0 for 1 tonight. He grounded out to second base in the first inning.
I'll tell you one thing. If those tunnels could talk, and the first base dugout and the third base dugout, you'd get some great stories.
Ball and a strike now to Big Papi. Jumps back out of the way and takes ball 2. Let's take a look at our La Quinta League leaders, active career home run leaders. David Ortiz, Jason Giambi here with the Indians. Ortiz at 445, Giambi at 440. Right on top, 654. Fouled off, 2-2. And last time up, Ortiz grounded to the shortstop as Drupal Cabrera to the right of second base, part of the shift. Back in the same spot here on David in the third inning with 2 down. Rip foul down by the tarp. Well, did you miss the first Red Sox All Access airings? We'll get you ready to go behind the scenes with your favorite Red Sox, from breakfast with the Brzezinskis to the musical talents of Jake Peavy. It's Red Sox All Access tomorrow at 4:30. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here in the third. Ortiz chops it foul. Still 2-2.
I tell you, Gary being the rookie, right? If he wants to show me something, he ought to one day set himself up in the tunnel down there.
Just wait for guys to come down and blow stuff up. Break helmets, bats, you know. I mean, you're trying to get Gary hurt? What are you trying to do exactly?
He's a, first year guy, right? Mm-hmm. Put him down, put him in the fire right down there, and
get a feel, get a flavor for the feel.
I can let him know when things are going to happen.
Listen, I've tried to kind of hang out down there, and I get kicked out pretty quick.
Well, Ortiz, Lions to Bourne. We're through 3 with the Red Sox on top, 1-0. Fourth inning back at Fenway Park with the Red Sox on top 1-0 over the Cleveland Indians. Lester back to the mound. He may have one hit through the first 3 innings against the Indians. Top of the Tribe's order here, Michael Bourne as Drupal Cabrera. Michael Brantley featured in the 4th. Joe's bunt, pulls it back and takes a ball. Bourne, one of 4 strikeout victims tonight for Cleveland.
Infield all in, a couple of steps because of the speed of Michael Bourne. And also the bunting ability.
In there for a strike, 2-1. That'll pick up the corner, 2-2. Since 08, Bourne leads all major league players in stolen bases, 288 since 2008. Next closest, Rajay Davis, 283. There's a ground ball softly to short. Herrera on the run, got to hurry, and it's just in time. Bang bang play at first, but Bourne retired for the first out of the 4th inning. From technologies that make your life easier to people who care about your community, Eastern Bank is committed to putting you first. Learn all the ways Eastern Bank puts you first at easternbank.com.
Now, we mentioned the infield was in, a couple of steps on Bourne, and it's a good thing because that was a very close play at first base. Herrera able to get the throw over there in time. Napoli stealing a call over at first by catching it and releasing at about the same time.
Out straight back by Cabrera. His second look tonight at John Lester. So a lot of guys do that after making contact, fouling back. Smell the bat.
I don't get it.
The burning of the bat. Remember Ted Williams said, "Can you smell it?"
Yeah, I can't. I couldn't.
You can never smell the burning of your bat.
No.
Maybe you didn't hit it hard enough. This is
I would agree. I totally agree. But I
couldn't get the burn generated.
I see that all the time, and I after a drag bunt, I never really picked my bat up. And, took a whiff.
Here it is, and he just fouled it off. He knows where he saw the scuff mark. Now I'm going to smell it.
So what does that mean?
Well, it's where the burn was. You can smell it burning. The wood is burning.
So what does it tell you?
What tells you that you hit it well? You were on it.
Really?
I think so. 0-2 is low.
Mine don't smell like a bat. I mean, a pine tar or something.
I had it all the time. Madison Little League.
Yeah. Can smell your aluminum bat. Now, you used wooden bats, didn't you?
No.
No?
No. I was all aluminum up. Still had short right field power. Down low, ball 3, full count. One hit allowed by Lester through 3 1/3, a single to right by the catcher for the Indians, Yan Gomes. There's Michael Brantley waiting on deck. Fly ball to right center field. Sizemore, who's playing for him to go the other way, will give way to Bradley Jr. for the second out. Came back to him. Let's send it down to Gary.
Well, guys, John Lester looking locked in and certainly well rested, and that's because he has actually got back to Boston over 12 hours before the rest of the team, due lightly in Baltimore yesterday, but then caught a flight back to Boston, which is a pretty common occurrence for pitchers who are scheduled to throw the next day, but even more beneficial considering there was that rain delay yesterday in Baltimore. We didn't get back to Boston from that team flight from Baltimore till after 3 o'clock in the morning, so clearly the added rest paying dividends for Lester tonight.
As you mentioned, fairly common for starting pitchers to go ahead in those type scenarios, and Lester taking advantage of that last night. It looked pretty good today. It's to left. Nava started sideways, and now it's going to fall. Kind of a bad read, and he'll flip it back into second base, but it's a 2-out base hit for Brantley.
Little slice by Brantley keeps a hitting streak going now at 4 games for Brantley down that left field corner. Daniel Nava going sideways then, and really no chance to make the play. And second base hit of the ball game for the Cleveland Indians. Yeah, most pitchers will go forward. There are those who do elect not to do that. They just stay with the team. There are I've been on teams where they have sent pitchers forward, and they have stopped that practice because as the team arrived at the hotel, the pitcher was just coming in New York. So that ended that policy of sending the pitchers ahead.
I guess you got to be a little bit more savvy when you're trying to get back into the hotel about your timing.
Yeah, you see the team bus pull up, you probably want to hide.
Yeah.
You know?
Defeats the purpose, you know.
Yeah, look, just a little. Obviously, other pitchers on our ball club were not real happy with this gentleman when that happened.
Jason Kipnis batting with 2 outs and a runner at first and down 0-2. Kipnis questioning. A strike call from Eric Cooper. Jump back out of the way, and it'll even at 2-2.
And Lester with a few steps toward the dugout thought maybe he had that inside corner on the cut fastball, but just missing the inside corner. Good pitch, though. He had Kipnis jumping away.
Fly ball left field, sending Nava backpedaling. It'll take him to the dirt of the track to make the catch. It ends the inning. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Sox on top 1-0. Napoli, Nava, and Sizemore. Bottom of the fourth inning, Red Sox enjoy a 1-0 advantage right now, trying to add to it. Mike Napoli got it started in the second inning, reaching on the throwing error. As Drupal Cabrera, he would score the game's only run as he takes strike one. Driven in on a double by Grady Sizemore. Napoli, Nava, and Sizemore to bat here in the bottom of the fourth inning. One and two. Eastern Bank knows small business keeps our economy and community strong. That's why they've been named the #1 SBA lender in Massachusetts 5 years in a row. Eastern Bank, here, you're first. 60th pitch coming up here for Josh Tomlin. Back at Tomlin off his cleat. He'll stay with it. Fire to first for the out. Hobbled a little bit by that. Got him in the foot, it appeared, as he's able to retire Napoli and says he's okay.
Well, you know, you had the line drive by Pedroia that ends up in Santana's glove. You got a ground ball headed up the middle off the foot of the pitcher. And it just continues. There's a chance. Kipnis, the second baseman, may have had a chance on that, but also a pretty good chance it would have headed up the middle for a base hit. But Napoli retired as the ball just landed right in front of Tomlin.
One out for Nava, who takes strike one. Single to right field in the second inning. One of the 3 hits compiled tonight by Boston. But now Sizemore next. Bloop to center, and it'll fall for a base hit. Nava 2 for 2 in the game tonight. Want an easy way to pay for your Dunkin' Donuts? Download Dunkin's free mobile app. With the app, you can load a DD card and pay right from your phone. Receive exclusive mobile offers, enroll in an auto recharge, and instantly send DD gift cards. Message and data rates may apply. For full terms of use, visit www.dunkindonuts.com. Red Sox Nation runs on Dunkin'. One out, a runner at first, and Grady Sizemore, the batter. It was his ground rule double in the second inning that plated the game's only run. His 15th RBI in a Red Sox uniform. Close pitch, but called the ball. 1-1.
Long look down by Sizemore to Brian Butterfield. Both Arnie Baylor and Daniel Nava also checking out the signs at first base. Make sure everybody's on the same page.
Well, Grady Sizemore breaking into the big leagues with the Indians in 2004. With them through 2011, spent 12 and 13, of course, on the DL. Takes strike two. That's a pitch that Eric Cooper's been pretty consistent with, right at the bottom of the strike zone, the low strike tonight.
Sizemore in his prime had 33 home runs back in 2008 with the Indians, the most he's compiled in his career. And he had 90 RBIs to go along with the 33 home runs. Swing and a miss, and Sizemore strikes out. It's the second strikeout for Tomlin. 2 down here in the 4th inning.
Yeah, Tomlin, both strikeouts have come on curveballs, and it looked like he took a little bit off this one. A little bit slower, kind of a 12-6 curveball that time to pick up the strikeout.
Two down, Nava at first, and David Ross, the batter, he walked in the 2nd inning. The only base on ball served up by Josh Tomlin in this game. Baltimore tonight jumping out to a 3-0 lead against the Blue Jays in the 4th inning at Camden Yards in Baltimore. They open up a 4-game series there, and their homestand continues. The Yankees are on the left coast tonight, taking on Seattle later on. Two 2-0 to Ross, and Tomlin's been very careful in dealing with David Ross. Walked him in the 2nd inning, got behind him 3-1. Now behind him in this at bat, 2-0.
And Don, you gave that score, you know, Toronto behind, and they've fallen on a little bit of tough time right now, and a good opportunity for other teams to make up some ground on them. And Baltimore's got back to 4.5, the Yankees to 4.5, Red Sox 9, of course.
That's a strike, 2-1. Very short lead at first base for Nava. Ross takes strike 2.
There's that consistency you were talking about, Don. Another low pitch, lower part of the strike zone, outside corner, called a strike by Cooper. He has been calling that pitch all night long, and it continues right there against David Ross.
Ross protecting the plate, jabs at it, sending it foul to the right. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live and in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit RedSox.com for details. Nice grab off to the right. Full count, and Nava now can get a start at first base with 2 outs in the inning. Not a lot of at-bats for Ross on the lengthy road trip, 9-game trip. He was 2 for 6 on the trip. As for time, backs out. Fouled straight back, and an 8th pitch in this at bat coming up for David Ross. Red Sox dealing with Josh Tomlin tonight, 29 years of age and homegrown in the Indians organization. He was an Indians 19th round pick in 2006. Broke into the big leagues in 2010 with the Indians. Most wins he's had in a year. He was 12-7 in 2011. Right-hander out of Tyler, Texas. Ball 4, and another walk for David Ross. 2 tonight, and the Red Sox have 2 on with 2 outs.
Yeah, Ross had a total of 5 coming into the game, so make it 6 and 7 after his first 2 at bats tonight.
Now Jonathan Herrera coming up. Grounded into the 3-2-3 double play in the second inning with the bases loaded. One of 2 double plays turned tonight by the Indians. This will get to the backstop on the fly, and the runners will move up. To third goes Nava, Ross to second.
Yan Gomes crossed up on that pitch. He didn't expect the fastball there. He expected something off speed. I mean, no reaction, hardly no reaction at all right there, just ducking under the fastball. So definitely a cross up there between Tomlin and Gomes.
They charge Tomlin with a wild pitch. Gets runners to second and third. A little bit low that time, 2-0. Navas singled. He's now at third. Ross walked, now at second. With 2 outs here in the home half of the 4th inning. Herrera lines it to center field. Bourne will get there and make the catch. It ends the inning. Red Sox strand 2 more. They've left 4 on base. It's 1-0 Boston. We'll get you a fans view when we come back. Power your home too. Visit GulfElectricity.com today. Top half of the 5th inning. 1-0 Red Sox on top of the Indians. John Lester not getting a lot in the way of run support tonight, but he is pitching very well. 2 hits through the first 4 innings. He has K'd 4 and not walked a batter. Carlos Santana opens up the 5th and takes ball 1. Santana, of course, had one of the more horrific injuries you'll see here at Fenway Park at home plate. Blocking the plate, and that play now out of the game for the most part as part of the new rules this year. But he went down. Buster Posey type situation here at Fenway and cost him a better part of a year, and now playing at first base primarily.
We were in Cleveland. He was actually in pregame batting practice taking ground balls at third base.
Yes.
There's the first walk given up by Lester, and it opens up the 5th inning. Oh, we're looking for your fan videos tonight. We got one tonight from Annette D in Pennsylvania, and a good-looking room there. As you got lots of Red Sox stuff going on there, and coming to a game for the first time here at Fenway Park, making a sign.
Hi, Dawn and Jerry. See you next week. Go Sox!
We'll have to look for that sign, Jerry.
Yeah. Spending some time on that. Quite a room.
Well, I'm sure our great camera crew will be able to find that sign. Popped up, foul ground. Napoli is over, and he makes the catch for the first out of the 5th inning. I want to make it clear our camera crew is the best in the major leagues in my estimation. Top to bottom, whether it be high first, low third, wherever you work here at Fenway, the best. Not just saying that.
I think we've known that for a long time.
There's Joe Stafford, who is as good as there is in this game. One out, one on. Swisher struck out looking in the 3rd inning and takes strike 1.
Now, you know why that came out of Don's mouth, right?
Why is that?
Because in Baltimore, you were talking about how great the crew was there and how wonderful you shot in the open. And, of course, Joe does the open for us. And I think Joe takes that kind of person.
I guess he took exception to it, which I don't personally understand, because Joe is the best.
Yeah, so
I've always enjoyed Joe's work and how he shoots it, and he's spitting sunflower seeds at me.
Yeah, and he made a nice sign that he put on the side of the camera.
So Joe's all done with me, apparently. The 1-1 pitch is low for ball 2, 2-1.
And one thing he should have learned throughout the years is you don't mess with Joe Stafford.
No, I knew that. I knew that already. And I really wasn't messing with Joe Stafford, because I was talking about just the road cameramen. We're all set, I guess. We're all done. 2-1. Switch to a grounded foul. Look out. Right into the Indians' dugout quickly. They got somebody down there. I don't know if Aviles was at the top step.
Yeah, you got Brad Mills, you got Aviles, you got Francona down in that area.
miss for ball 3, full count. Nick Swisher, the former Oakland A, Chicago White Sox, New York Yankee, and now the Cleveland Indians. Comes out of Ohio State, and his dad Steve played in the major leagues as a catcher for the Cardinals and Cubs.
Weren't you an announcer where he was a manager?
Yes, Double-A Binghamton. He was a manager in the Mets farm system. This one fouled off. I met Nick Swisher when he was 10 years old. And I remember it pretty clearly. He was in Canton, Ohio, and I had told the story to Ken Maka, who was the manager of the Oakland A's, and he brought me out to meet Nick Swisher afterwards again years later. Nick Swisher was 10. He came up to me outside the clubhouse and said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm the radio announcer for your dad's team." And he said, "So what?" He kept walking. Fly ball to shallow right. Sizemore's in and over, and he'll make the catch for the second out. 2 down and back to first goes Santana.
That's been quite a thrill for you.
Yeah, so then I go in and Steve Swisher says, "Hey, did you get a chance to meet my son?" I said, "Yeah, he's special. Great kid." It hasn't changed much over the years. There are 2 outs here in the 5th inning. And with Santana at first and Yan Gomes standing in. Gomes with a single to right, one of 2 hits tonight for the Indians. This will be fouled off down the right field line. Sharply hit off the glove of Holt. It'll be picked by Herrera. Throws to second late, and everybody's safe. Gomes will reach at first base. It'll be a tough play once Holt could not field it at third, and it's first and second, 2 down.
Yeah, Red Sox tried to make the best out of a very difficult situation there. That ball was hit very hard by Gomes down to Holt. You can see it kind of back up on him and hit him on the side of the body. Herrera tries to go to second base to get the force play, but can't get it there in time. I believe that's going to be a base hit. That ball was hit pretty hard down toward Brock Holt.
It is a base hit. Yep, it's a hit, and there's 3 now in the game for the Indians, and 2 on in an inning for the first time for the Indians tonight. Mike Aviles now bats. Crowded into a double play in the 3rd inning, 0 for 1. Now heading out is Ross to talk to Lester with 2 outs here in the 5th. Well, the World Cup has begun, and NESN.com has all over your coverage. Visit NESN.com/World Cup to see previews of every game, live blogs of every United States match, and podcasts with international soccer journalists. It's outside to Aviles, 2-0. Santana at second, Gomes at first, 2 outs here in the 5th. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Walk to begin the inning for Santana. Rayburn fouled out to first baseman Mike Napoli. Swisher fly to right. Gomes reaches on the infield hit. Now a pop-up foul that'll get out of play.
Lester trying that curveball on the outside part of the plate to Aviles, and Good curveball from Lester. And very good stuff to this point in the ball game tonight.
Framed by Ross. Lester was started in the dugout, but called a ball, and it's a full count now. The runners can get a start.
Yeah, it's a couple of times tonight. Lester's had about 3 or 4 steps toward the dugout. That ball just barely missing the outside part of the plate. Ross still talking to Cooper about that last pitch. Umpires and catches, they get into it all the time. As long as the catcher doesn't turn around and show up the umpire, they'll let them pretty much have their say back there, as long as they're looking straight ahead.
Bluffing off the backside, no throw, and Ross back out again. A lot of visits this inning. Red Sox on top 1-0. Indians trying to make some noise here in the 5th. And Aviles chops it foul, stays alive. And again into the Indians dugout. Few in this inning.
Oh, right up the side of the face.
Aviles to right field, down the line. Sizemore towards the seats, will make the catch. Almost overran it. Able to lean back and make the grab in the end. The Indians strand a pair. Red Sox still lead at 1-0 thanks to this. one, but the Red Sox have the only run of the night. Came back in the second inning. Here's a liner to right and a base hit for Jackie Bradley Jr. to open up the bottom of the fifth inning.
Now back in the second inning, an error to start off the inning. Napoli reaching first base on the Cabrera error. And then Sizemore with the ground rule double, a drive and a run. Red Sox with the 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the fifth.
Well, lead runner on here for the Red Sox as Bradley at first, and Brock Holt as one of the Red Sox 4 hits in the game tonight. There goes Bradley, and it's fouled off to the left out of play.
Yeah, that's exactly what Farrell was talking about today. You know, combinations that he can hit and run with, and this is certainly one of them. But you also need cooperation from a pitcher. You know, power pitches you usually don't hit and run with because they're swing and miss kind of guys. But a guy like Tomlin, you know, you can make contact against him. And they try a play, fouls it off.
Holt fouls it back, down 0-2. Seems like the Red Sox have been grounding into or lining into a bunch of double plays on this road trip, and tonight they have already grounded into, lined into, combination of 2 in the game tonight. On the second, 1 in the third. Taking themselves out of some big innings. Low throw, and it gets away. Heading for second base is Bradley Jr. getting there without a problem. There, a throw over by Tomlin.
And it wasn't really intended to pick him off. It was kind of a just get back to first base kind of attempt right here, and the ball goes errant, gets by Santana, the first baseman. Bradley Jr. in a scoring position.
Red Sox left 2 in scoring position in the second inning and 2 in scoring position in the fourth inning. A total of 4 men left on through the first 4 innings. But already more chances tonight to score than they have. Bouncing in, Santana, or rather Gomes, blocks it. And no advance at second base for Bradley Jr. Thought about it.
Breaking ball, one that catches expected into it, and nice block by Gomes behind the plate. It does kind of down that third base line, and obviously nowhere for Bradley Jr. to go.
On the ground to first base, picked by Santana. He will flip to the pitcher, Tomlin, for the out. And on to third base goes Bradley Jr. So Holt getting the job done, moving the runner over.
Yeah, things you have to do when you're having trouble scoring runs. Move those runners from second base with nobody out. Gets a fastball that's middle in and hooks that ball right down to Santana. Pretty nice backhanded play at first base. Leads Tomlin to the back. Tomlin immediately spins around and check that runner at third base. So well done by Brock Holt.
One down, Bradley Jr. 90 feet away. And Dustin Pedroia, the batter, 0 for 2. He's grounded out to second and lined into that double play. Bring the infield in all the way around, and a nice play by Gomes to block that and save a run. Bounced up high on him.
Got another curveball down that bounced out in front of the plate that time, and up around the shoulders he was able to block it.
And then for a strike, 1-1. Pitching line for Tomlin, 86 pitches deep into his outing, 4 1/3. The run that is scored in this game was unearned, thanks to the miscue by Asdrubal Cabrera in the second inning. Bouncing in again. And again, a breaking ball, so Gomes kind of expecting it. 2-1. Trying to do it again here for the Red Sox with 1 out. Pedroia chops it softly down the third baseline. It is a fair ball. Slings it across in time to get Pedroia for the second out, and he can't get the runner in. 2 down. Willis picked it up before it would go foul.
Yeah, nice play by Aviles down at third base as he makes sure that he gets this ball before it does go into foul territory and has time to get Pedroia at first base. Now let's see what they do with Big Papi with first base open. There's first going to be a meeting at the mound to discuss exactly what they're going to do here.
Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach, headed out there to talk it over. And John Farrell is out to talk to the home plate umpire, Eric Cooper. I'm not sure if he's disputing whether that was fair or foul. It's not something that you can challenge in the infield. So a quick conversation, and Pedroia back to the dugout. For every Red Sox hit in June, Echo Store Technologies will donate $50 to the Sean Thornton Foundation to help find a cure for Parkinson's disease and pediatric cancer. To learn more, log on to echostore.com. Echo Store Technologies, your data center solutions provider. 2 outs here in the 5th. David Ortiz, the batter. They are going to go after him here, at least to begin. And Ortiz rips it foul. So they had the option of putting him on and going after Napoli here, but they're going to pitch to Big Papi initially anyway.
Not surprised that he got that good of a pitch to hit, but a swing on the first pitch. Fastball middle in.
Ortiz jolts it to center field. Bourne going back at the wall. That ball is gone. Wrong decision for the Cleveland Indians. They pitch to Ortiz, and he takes it out of the yard. Boston takes a 3-0 lead.
David Ortiz picks up number 15 on the season, and in a surprising situation. As I said, first base was open. He gets 2 fastballs on the first 2 pitches. The first one was middle in. The second one was down around knee high out over the plate. And Ortiz to straightaway center field for the home run.
Now Napoli chopping one foul. Home run number 15 of the year for Big Papi has given the Red Sox a 3-0 lead. There's one guy you're not going to let beat you. It's that guy. The 0-2 pitch. That'll miss 1-2. Napoli has reached on an error and scored the Red Sox first run in the second inning and tap one back to the mound in the 4th inning. to left and struck with authority. Place of the wall. It kicks back to Brantley, which will hold Napoli to a single. Quickly back into second base. First hit of the night from Mike Napoli. Grabs the base of the wall.
And Napoli jumps on a breaking ball right there. A curveball looked like from Tomlin, and a rocket down the left field corner. There's that 12-6 curveball, and Napoli all over it. Well played out there by Brantley as he quickly gets it back in and holds Napoli, keeps him from scoring position.
One on, two away, 2 runs in. Daniel Nava has 2 hits in 2 at-bats tonight. Takes strike 1. Action for the first time in the pen for the Indians. Nick Hagedorn is up in the pen. Former Red Sox farmhand. Check on first. Napoli back to the bag. Santana holding him on. To left center field, and that'll get in. Third hit of the night for Nava. Napoli is headed to third and now stops, trying to get back to second. He will not. Out at second base, overran it. Trying to get back there again as he was headed to third, and he is retired. But a 2-run home run for Big Papi as the Sox on top 3-0. Fire protection products and fabrication for facilities throughout the Northeast. Wow, bet you didn't know FW Web did that. More on this proud Red Sox sponsor at fwweb.com. It's 3-0. Red Sox have the lead over the Cleveland Indians into the 6th inning. Lester, a little breathing room now as he heads into the 6th. And he is 66 pitches deep into his outing. Top of the Indians order. Michael Bourne as Drupal Cabrera and Michael Brantley here in the 6th inning. Bourne 0 for 2. Struck out swinging and grounded out to short. One in the second, two in the fifth for Boston, leading it now 3-0. Fly ball down the left field line. Knob will go as far as he can, but that'll end up well into the seats. Foxwoods Resort Casino is the official resort casino and proud partner of the Boston Red Sox. Well, they found the baseball over there. '70th pitch for Lester, and it is grounded foul. Still 1-2. Told you the numbers for Lester coming in against Cleveland. He's had success, 6-1 with a 3.43 earned run average against them. This year 1-0. Started to go into the line when time was granted by Eric Cooper behind the dish. On the ground, right side. Napoli laying it out. Lester will cover and off the glove. Reaching at first is Bourne. The throw was there. But Lester couldn't catch it. Looked like he took his eye off it to find the bag with his foot. It's thrown pretty hard, too, by Napoli.
Yeah, it was. He gave a pretty good fastball to Lester, which is a very difficult play covering first base. A beautiful play there by Napoli, and then he really let it fly. And just as he was getting to first base, you could see Lester look down to find the bag. And then the ball popped out of his glove.
So error charge to Lester on the play. Allows Bourne to reach, and you don't want him on the base pass if he can help it, but he is on now to begin the inning. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera, 0 for 2, popping out to first, flying out to center field. Fly ball right field, playable for Grady Sizemore. Makes his way in and makes the catch for the first out of the 6th inning. Third time as Asdrubal Cabrera has flied out in this game. One down in the 6th, and it brings up Michael Brantley as they start to get into the heart of this Indians order here in the 6th inning. Pitching line brought to you by Ace Ticket for John Lester. 5 1/3, 3 hits, not allowed to run. He's walked a batter and struck out 4. An error that he made to begin this inning as Michael Bourne at first base with 1 out. Michael Brantley batting for the 3rd time tonight, has struck out and singled.
Brantley now 7 for his last 11 with the 1 for 2 in the ball game tonight.
It's already matched his career high in home runs. That was 10 from a year ago. He's got 10 this year already. And he lines this down the left field line and quickly into the corner. Knob over to dig it out. Bourne, who can fly, gets to third base without a problem. It's a double for Michael Brantley, who gets his 2nd hit of the night, and all of a sudden it's 2nd and 3rd with 1 out for the Indians.
Yeah, Brantley came into the game with reasonable success against Lester, 273 coming in, and he's got 2 hits in this game. just thinking the opposite field. This ball slicing away, as you can see, from Daniel Nava. And by the time he tracks it down, 2 men in scoring position for the Indians.
Now Jason Kipnis 0 for 2, striking out swinging in the second and flying out to the warning track in left field in the 4th inning. Cleanup man in a big spot here for Cleveland. First time they've had a base runner reach 3rd in the game. On the ground right side, Pedroia can't get it. It's into right field. 1 run is in. Here comes another. Throw to the plate is going to be cut off, and the Indians get 2 back quickly. It's now 3-2 Boston.
That's a ball there that Dustin Pedroia normally knocks down, and I think that's what he was trying to do. First catch it, but at least knock it down and save 1 run. You see Pedroia diving. It looked like it went in between his glove in his arm. It did. And 2 runs come in, make it a 1-run ball game. Pedroia upset with himself at not at least knocking that ball down, and he had thoughts of catching that ball.
It's a base hit and a couple of RBIs for Jason Kipnis, and the Indians gathered 2 quickly. As now Carlos Santana dances out of the way of a pitch down and in. Indians answering here in the 6th inning after the Red Sox tacked on 2 more in the bottom of the 5th. Lester trying to find his bearings here. It was his miscue at the bag at first that started this inning. Two and 0. The strike over the inside corner, 2-1. Carlos Santana, 28 years of age now. Drives it to center field. Bradley Jr. back with room. Shy of the track, makes the catch for the 2nd out. Kipnis back to first with 2 down. Well, the Cardiovascular Institute at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center invites you to join the club. The Walking Club gives free tools and tips to get you and your family walking towards better health. More at bidmc.org/walking. 2 down with Kipnis at first base. 2 runs in here for Cleveland, and there's Ryan Rayburn 0 for 2. He's popped out to third and fouled out to first. Two and 0.
Now both teams tonight have taken advantage of errors. The error to start this inning off. 2 runs in for Cleveland. The Red Sox had a run back in the 2nd inning when Cabrera made an error to start off the inning.
Rayburn expected the fastball. It's 2-1. Runner goes, and Rayburn turns on this and fouls it back into the grandstand. Nice catch by a fan who brought a glove.
Kipnis at first base taking off on that pitch. He does have 7 steals. Cleanup hitter for the Cleveland Indians. 7 steals, caught 1 time.
A little bit low for ball 3. A breakdown for Lester to this point. I'm going to throw more pitches in the last 2 innings. A very minimal amount early on in this game. I get out of a first and second jam with 2 outs in the 5th. Not as lucky here in the 6th inning, surrendering 2 runs so far. Now a 3-2. And a hard ball that explodes on Holt and gets into left field. Nava will get it back in, and now it's first and second with 2 down. Rayburn gets a base hit. Comes Juan Nieves to the mound.
Cut fastball here, and another shot down toward Brock Holt, moving in from left field and third base tonight with Bogarts having the night off, and that ball just bouncing up over the glove of Holt. I think Lester more upset with himself there than Brock Holt. That ball was hit very hard.
Ace Ticket, the official Red Sox ticket partner, has the best seats at the lowest prices to all the games at Fenway. All the 200% guarantee right now. Ace Ticket has special savings on all Red Sox games. Treat yourself or someone special. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MySeats. 2 on, 2 down, 2 runs in for the Indians. Nick Swisher, the batter, and his 3rd at bat of the night against John Lester. He has struck out and fly to right. Strike 1. 93 on the fastball from John Lester. On the ground left side, Herrera charging a flip to second just in time for the out that ends the inning. But the Indians get 2 runs in the inning. It's 3-2 Red Sox. Indians in the top of the 6th inning. It's 3-2 now, 1-run game, and John Farrell in his ear. Strike over the outside corner to Grady Sizemore. Leads it off here in the 6th. And an RBI double in the 2nd inning. Struck out swinging in the 4th inning. Tomlin working into the 6th inning here for the Indians. And a swing and a miss, 1-2.
Change up that time from Tomlin and get the swing and miss from Sizemore. Sizemore had a double back in that 2nd inning and a drive and a run. Struck him out on a curveball last time.
Here comes pitch number 100 for Tomlin. And a very defensive late swing by Sizemore as he strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. It's the 3rd K for Tomlin.
You know, sometimes it happens. You strike out on a curveball. You last at bat, so you're kind of expecting that again. He doesn't get the curveball. He gets the fastball and a very late swing by Sizemore. So he may have been guessing breaking ball there and got the fastball.
Minka Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. One down here in the 6th inning. David Ross, the batter. A walk in the 2nd, a walk in the 4th. The 2 walks allowed tonight by Tomlin. A bunt bid, popped up foul ground. Aviles won't get there as it drops harmlessly. Jumps up into the seats. Double-barreled action now. Former Red Sox pitcher Scott Atchison and Nick Hagedorn, also a former Red Sox farmhand anyway. Both up in the pen now for the Tribe as the 6th inning begins. And Tomlin now up over 100 pitches. Strike 2. Tomlin last pitching at Texas and winning. So in 8 innings, giving up 3 runs in that outing. Line, but right to where Kipnis was stationed defensively at second base. Ross is out number 2 of the inning. In position perfectly that time defensively. It's time to check out the top sporting events on the list tonight. The Olympics, the Super Bowl, World Cup, or World Series. If you have a comment about tonight's list, tweet us at #NESSONList.
If you had a choice, Tom, which one would you go to?
I would probably go to the Super Bowl. I've never been.
Really, the Super Bowl? Yeah.
Been to the World Series a few times, obviously. But,
yeah, we can knock that one off the list because you've been there.
There's a check there. I've been to the Olympics.
I would like to. You have been to the Olympics?
I've been to the Summer Olympics in L.A. '84.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think I'd like to see the Olympics.
And I saw soccer there, the final, in fact, in '84. So that's kind of covering the World Cup a little bit. I know it's different. I've never been to a Super Bowl. And this is lined to right, and it'll get in. Herrera, as it heads to the corner, heads for second base, maybe beyond. He's thinking 3, throws it into another gear. The throw is going to be not in time. A triple for Jonathan Herrera with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
Now the way they are playing Herrera in the outfield, kind of chaining him the other way. Once contact was made down that right field side, there was plenty of time for Herrera to get around. You can see where Rayburn starts from. And this ball rattles around the corner a little bit, and Herrera has no problem getting into third base with the head first slide and the 3 bases.
That triple is the night for Josh Tomlin as Terry Francona out to make the change. The starter for the Indians is done. 3-2 Red Sox. Josh Tomlin only a spectator now as he leaves with 2 outs and a runner at third base. And Hagedorn into the game here for the Indians with a runner at third, and Bradley Jr. takes ball 1. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by New England Ford dealers. Hagedorn first in, lefty-lefty matchup, 5th appearance. 1-0, 3.86 earned run average. Just been called up from AAA Buffalo when the Red Sox were in Cleveland. It's part of that series at Progressive Field.
And he's one of those left-handers that comes at you right over the top with both his fastball and breaking pitch.
Came to the Indians from the Red Sox, the Victor Martinez deal, and of course included right-hander Justin Masterson. Masterson will go tomorrow night against John Lackey, game 2 of the series. And Bradley Jr. walks on 4 pitches, so that's not what Terry Francona wanted from his lefty coming into the game.
Now facing the number 9 in the lineup, not exactly what Tito had in mind.
So first and third, 2 down, and Brock Holt coming up. He has popped out to third, singled to right, and grounded out to first base. Start and a stop at first base for Bradley Jr., and it's another ball, 5 straight now thrown by Hagedorn. In this spot, hitting at 364 as the Red Sox try to get some more breathing room in what is now just a 1-run game. Strike over the inside corner, 1-1. Dustin Pedroia waiting on deck with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Fouled off, 1-2. 94 that time from Hagedorn. Well, for every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings or the Sox get a save, CVS Pharmacy will make a donation to Boston Children's Hospital towards a $25,000 donation. Once again this season, CVS Pharmacy is the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox.
You know, next year somebody should sponsor rain delays. Have a lot of those too.
I believe LL Bean does.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Runner first goes, pitch outside, and the stolen base for Jackie Bradley Jr. gets up into scoring position with 2 down.
Yeah, Jackie had a great jump at first base, and then he had the benefit of the breaking ball in the dirt, so no play at all at second base. As a matter of fact, we don't even see a middle infielder moving, so they were not going to throw the ball through anyway.
5th theft of the year for Jackie Bradley Jr. has him in scoring position as well. Full count now. Popped up, foul, and out of play. Herrera at third base, Bradley Jr. at second base, 2 down. Full count to Brock Holt. Fouls off another, and the battle continues. You'll see an 8th pitch.
Good battle here, put on by Brock Holt. 2 men in scoring position, trying to make contact.
Holt reaches out, sends it toward deep left field. Brantley back, and he can't make the catch. It's off the wall. Herrera has scored. Bradley Jr. has scored, and the Red Sox take a 5-2 lead. They've been looking for a big hit, and they get it from Brock Holt.
And you could tell right there when that ball left the bat, Brantley, he was not sprinting after that, unsure because of the wall in left field. And then you knew right away, just about right away, that ball was going to get over his head. You can see where he's playing. He looks to the wall. He's got a lot of room to go, but slowed up a little bit. Can't get the glove on it, and 2 runs come in. So Holt with a very good at bat, his 2nd hit of the night.
Now all this coming with 2 outs. It started with the Herrera triple. Pitching change again from Fenway. 5-2, Red Sox now the lead, a 3-run lead once again. Second time in this game they've had one. Here's Scott Atchison, the former Red Sox right-hander. 28th game, 3-0, 3.14 earned run average. Opponents hitting at .211 against him. Generally throwing a lot of strikes, 21 strikeouts to only 4 walks on the year. And Atchison, the third pitcher used tonight by Terry Francona, and he's on to face former teammate in Dustin Pedroia. 0 for 3 in the game. Pop up, foul, and out of play. Inherited runners stranded, 12 of 15. And he comes in here with a runner at second and Brock Holt, and 2 outs in the inning.
Atchison did a very nice job with the Red Sox when he was a member of this club.
On the ground, right side. Kipnis gets the friendly hop and throws out Pedroia to end the inning, but Brock Holt drives in 2, and the Red Sox lead at 5-2. The Indians are an AL best 21-11 at home, third in Major League Baseball, but sit 10 games below 500 on the road. 12-22, second lowest in the American League. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea is the refreshing hard iced tea. Tastes like real iced tea. Be a little twisted. 7th inning, Red Sox back on top by 3. As a pitch missing for ball 1 from John Lester to Yan Gomes. He's had success tonight against Lester, 2 for 2. Single to right, infield hit to third. And the cutter biting in, 1-1. Lester with his second 3-run lead of the night. Works into the 7th inning, and this will be pitch number 90. One of his outing. To short. There's a chance to get Gomes for the first time tonight, and does, as Herrera throws him out. Check back in with Gary Streisky.
Guys, get used to seeing each one of these gentlemen flanked next to me here. 33rd overall pick by the Boston Red Sox, Michael Kopech, a pitcher out of Texas, and 4th round pick out of Bryant. Kevin McAvoy chilling with me tonight, finalizing their deal with the Red Sox. Michael, got to ask you a question. This is actually your first time here in Boston checking out Fenway Park. I got to get your thoughts, man.
Absolutely. Well, I got to say it's a great fan base. So I look forward to pitching in front of these people one day. Fan base seems a lot like a family. I've never seen a park with this many people in it, and this is a regular thing here. So I'm really excited about that.
Saying all the right things. And Kevin, I know you've been to plenty of Red Sox ball games, especially being kind of from New England here. But what are your thoughts of your first ball game here as a now member of the organization?
I mean, it's not that much different. Just envisioning myself out there playing is unbelievable, and it get treated a lot different when you're a member. But it's been awesome.
I know you guys have said you haven't been noticed quite yet by the fan base, but you're getting plenty of FaceTime right here. So expect those Twitter feeds to blow up. Michael, we got to end on this, man. I know you're from Texas, Northeast Texas, so the humidity's crazy, and also the traffic is a whole lot less compared to Boston.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Traffic here, you kind of have to work your way in and out of the lanes, so that'll be something I have to get used to when I start driving around here. But I'm liking the weather, though, for sure.
All right, get used to these guys here. Michael Kopech, Kevin McAvoy, the future of the Sox.
All right, Gary, thanks very much. Looking forward to seeing them moving forward. The Red Sox signing them both.
A very special day, both signing contracts, and it all starts right now.
One down, Mike Aviles singled to left field, and he's on at first, held on by Napoli. Bourne takes ball 2-0.
I remember, Don, in minor league days, you had very few days off, as you know. And we had an opportunity one time to go to, I was in Stockton in the California League, to go to see a Giants game. We had a rare day off and went to the Giants game. And all you can do is sit there and dream about, someday being in that atmosphere, Although I will say, it was like in July, and it was freezing at Candlestick Park, the old ballpark.
Yeah.
Well, what a bad place that was.
I think, I may be mistaken, but I think they're taking it down. If I'm not mistaken,
not
out there.
Playing football, not going to play football anymore.
This last year might have been the last year. This is to center field as Bradley Jr. going back to the track and makes the catch up against the wall. He'll turn and fire back to first base for a double play. Jackie Bradley Jr. The grab and the throw. It's a DP and the end of the inning.
Bradley Jr. just made. Now watch him. He comes in a couple of steps first and then back toward the wall to make the catch and all the way to first base. No cutoff man needed. The presence of mind to know that that runner was around second base, Aviles, and all the way in from out there in left field, Bradley goes to first base on one hop to get the double play. What a play by Jackie Bradley Jr.
John Lesser right there to greet him as he arrived at the dugout. As we now head to the bottom of the 7th inning.
It's pretty amazing when you can, take a couple of steps in the way that he did and then be able to jump back as quickly as he did to go back and make that play and then turn it into a double play as you're looking at the numbers here for Carrasco, who's coming into the ballgame.
Takes over for Atchison to get the final out of the 6th inning. Atchison going at third and retiring the only batter that he faced in Pedroia. Here is David Ortiz, who has grounded out and lined out. Last time up, hit a 2-run home run to straightaway center field. His 15th home run of the year. RBIs 39 and 40. And he leads it off here in the home half of the 7th inning. Ortiz will take strike one. That's some Sox culture for David Ortiz. Scarface, favorite movie, anything seafood, and 2 Chainz, his favorite artist. Non-baseball activity, watch TV or movies.
I know Don likes 2 Chainz.
If I heard a song, I probably would know who 2 Chainz is. But I really, off the top of my head, I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
I don't know.
2 Chainz is.
I don't know either.
Okay.
I have no idea.
But I bet you I know one of the songs.
I'm sure.
I heard it.
We've probably heard it in the clubhouse.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. 0-2 pitch down and in.
Don drives in every day listening to 2 Chainz from Rhode Island.
Going to upset the Dave Matthews fans. That's not true. Listen to Dave every day on the way in.
Every day.
Every day. Back to the mound. Carrasco will throw to first for the out. It's time for a Toyota Game Break and Tom Karen, TC. All right, Tom, thanks very much. Back here at Fenway, Red Sox have a 5-2 lead as they bat in the home half of the 7th inning. 1 down for Mike Napoli. 1 for 3 night from Mike. He singled to left field his last time up and takes a ball high, 95 miles an hour from Carrasco. Carrasco actually started the year in the rotation for the Cleveland Indians, given the job out of spring training. But in April went 0-3 with a 6.95 earned run average and shifted to the bullpen. We're at the end of April 29th.
You're kind of like a play. You're very superstitious, and you drive into the ballpark every day. You listen to Dave Matthews, and
same thing.
It gets you prepared and ready to do your job every day.
Probably the most relaxing part of my day.
The drive in. Listening to Dave.
Yeah, I'm one with Dave. This one fouled off to the right, out of play. You also drive in the same way every day. You do that exactly the same way?
Yes, I do.
Because if I don't, something could go wrong. You don't know. This is a center field. Base hit for Mike Napoli, his 2nd hit of the night.
The only time I alter my drive in is when we have one of those, maybe we might have one of those weekday day games.
Yes.
And instead of taking the Alston-Brighton exit, which can really get backed up, I'll stay on the Mass Pike and get off at Copley. That's the only change I usually make. And I don't like it either. Right?
No, I don't like it at all.
It throws me off my game.
And should there be construction, then I have issues. I make faces at the construction workers on the way by.
I'll bet they appreciate that.
You messed everything up for me. The ball loose on the side. They will run down. David Ross out to get it. One out, one on. Nava, the batter. In there for a strike. Infield a double play depth with one out here in the 7th. Five runs, 11 hits, an error for the Red Sox. 2 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors for the Indians. Ball 2, 2-1. Nava's had a nice night tonight. Single to right, single to center, single to center. Part of the 11-hit attack, and it's picked by Kipnis to second for 1, on to first for 2. That's the 3rd double play turned by the Indians tonight. It's 5-2 Boston at the end of 7. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. 5-2. Red Sox have the lead over the Cleveland Indians. It's the top of the 8th inning. Bullpen busy for Boston. Shinichi Tozawa in the pen. Now joined by Andrew Miller. There's Drupal Cabrera leading it off here for the Indians. 98th pitch of the night for Lester, who wants a new baseball and gets one. Cabrera's 0 for 3. He's flied out 3 times. A shortstop for the Tribe. Brantley and Kipnis 2, 3, and 4 for the Indians here in the 8th. In there for a strike, 2-1. 14th start of the year for Lester, trying to get his 7th win and individually get back to 500. He comes in at 6-7. Has a 3-run lead here in the 8th. Busy bullpen behind him as the inning begins. Rolled over foul. Do it again. 2-2. On the ground is short. Herrera glided to his left, and he throws out Cabrera. 1 down. Well, this Sunday, catch a special Father's Day edition of NESN Clubhouse. Learn what is the real difference between aluminum and wooden bats. The Fenway parking attendant takes you inside player cars. Plus, Gary and David Ortiz's son D'Angelo face off in round 3 of Batter Up. Don't miss NESN Clubhouse live and commercial free Sunday at noon. One out in the 8th, and Michael Brantley, the batter, has 2 hits tonight, single and a double, and has scored a run. Lines it foul. Nice catch.
Wow, how about that play? Standing ovation. That's outstanding. That's going to be on what do they call it? Top plays of the day.
NESN Sports Today.
Yes.
The 1 he is in there for strike 2.
That and Jackie Bradley Jr.'s play, the 2 best plays of the night.
And her name is Jackie also, so you know.
Is she really?
Yes.
That's Jackie.
Yes. Fly ball, center field. Bradley Jr. settles underneath. Second out of the 8th. It's time now for the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag NESN fan photo for a chance to be shown in our broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Tonight's fan photo is from Captain Laz, who is showing his Red Sox pride at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when the Red Sox were last in Cleveland last week. 2 down in the 8th, and Jason Kipnis made a nice play to start the double play offensively for the Indians an inning ago. Juan Nieves on the phone. Lester would just as soon get through this 8th. Action has stopped for the moment. Lester last time out just 4 1/3, giving up the 5 runs to the Tigers. Line and a base hit into right field for Jason Kipnis. A 2-out single, and it's the 2nd hit of the night for the Indians second baseman.
And he's had a good night, 2 for 4 against Lester. Lefty against lefty. He's driven in 2 runs. And out comes John Farrell.
So Farrell will make the change after the single by Kipnis. John Lester will hear it from the Fenway faithful as he departs with a 3-run lead. 60 label makers from WB Mason give you a million reasons to organize that mess. Get yours now for just $9.99. Available June only and exclusively from WB Mason while supplies last. Now with 2 outs and a runner at first, we get the game summary brought to you by Xfinity. Tomlin leaving after 5 2/3. Pitcher of record on the losing side right now. Lester wanted to stay in this game. Goes 7 2/3. And responsible for the runner at first base. Brock Holt, another 2-hit night tonight. Big Papi has a 2-run home run. Carlos Santana, the first batter that Tazawa faces. And the breaking ball in there for strike one. We've seen more of that in the first pitch coming into games a lot this year.
Yeah, we have done a lot more breaking balls from Tazawa. On the whole all year, but a lot of times on that very first pitch.
Now backing off, looking the runner back. The runner is Jason Kipnis at first base with 2 down in the inning. Carlos Santana's fouled out, walked, and flied out to center field. Outside 1-1. Zawa threw a scoreless 8th inning Tuesday night at Baltimore. 2 strikeouts. And Nelson Cruz to fly out, struck out J.J. Hardy, and David Lowe swinging. Moves ahead of Andrew Miller for the most appearances out of the bullpen for the Red Sox this year with 31 now. And jumps ahead here of Santana, 1-2. I'll remind you to tune in tonight after the games in NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. Sarah and Jamie will have a report from Jamison Coyle at Patriots OTAs, and let's talk Celtics lottery pick workouts. See what know-how can do. There is Andrew Miller. Speaking of Miller, who is up in the pen, was up last inning as well, and throw to first, and back to the bag is Kipnis. A 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Able to strike him out. Gets him on the splitter that ends the top of the 8th. 5-2 Sox. lesson is brought to you in part by the new Scion TC. Stowe, Vermont. Orkin Pest Control, down to a science. Sullivan Tire and Auto Repair. And by Southwest Airlines. Now back at Fenway Park, 5-2. Red Sox have the lead over the Indians. We head to the last of the 8th inning. Brady Sizemore leading it off for Boston. Former Cleveland Indian takes ball 1. Carlos Carrasco back out on the mound for the Indians. Sizemore had an RBI double back in the 2nd inning. Since then has struck out twice. Both times swinging. Foul tipped in. It's 1-2.
Backdoor slide at that time as Koji Uehara gets loose in the Red Sox bullpen. Certainly a save situation at this point.
On the ground right side, Kipnis to his left throws out Sizemore for the first out of the 8th inning. Well, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live presented by DCU Digital Federal Credit Union. Tomorrow at 6:30, TC and Wake will preview the John Lackey-Justin Masterson matchup. DCU Digital Federal Credit Union, what can DCU save you? One out in the 8th, and David Ross been aboard twice tonight. Walking in the 2nd, walking in the 4th, before lining out to Kipnis at second base in the 6th inning. Swing and a miss on a pitch headed in. Fastball that time at 93 miles an hour. Tough to catch up to, especially up there. 1-1. Ross now. Herrera next. Red Sox trying to get this homestand off on the right foot after a miserable road trip that saw them go 2-7 in 9 games through Cleveland, Detroit, and Baltimore. He's up again, and Ross chases again. 2-2.
Pretty good fastball, 94 miles an hour upstairs to David Ross.
Back up there again at 96 and strikes him out. Everything was up to Ross, and he strikes out. 2 down.
It looked like by intent going upstairs with just about everything in that at bat to David Ross, especially all fastballs.
2 down for Jonathan Herrera. He's grounded into a double play, lined out to center, tripled and scored. This triple came with 2 outs in the 6th inning and started a 2-run inning. Seemed to ignite the Red Sox attack in that inning, and very close game at the time. And the Red Sox scored twice to get their 3-run lead back again. Now a grounder up over Carrasco, but Kipnis to the backhand. His throw is not in time. Herrera beats it out. Infield hit. Well, a lot of speed shown by Herrera tonight.
Yeah, he's had a very nice night. The triple last time up. Now he beats a fine play there by Kipnis, who goes well to his right to make the play. The sidearm throw to first base, but Herrera hustling all the way will beat that at first base.
Terry Francona started out, but he is not going to challenge this play. Two outs, a runner at first. Jackie Bradley Jr. gets another chance to bat. Struck out, singled, and walked, and tonight has scored 2 runs from his number 9 spot in the order. Lehar will be dealing with Ryan Rayburn, Nick Swisher, and Yan Gomes. 6, 7, and 8 scheduled to bat for the Indians in the top of the 9th inning.
Now there is a chance here with 2 outs. Herrera could be going at first base to try to get in the scoring position for Bradley. Does not have a steal yet on the season. He has been caught 3 times.
Two and one. Slings it over, and back to the bag is Herrera. Tomlin, the starter tonight for the Indians, giving up 4 runs in 5 2/3. Nick Hagedorn charged with a run of his own, didn't retire anybody. Scott Atchison faced 1 batter, retired him. Now Carrasco on multiple innings gets the strike in there to make it 2 and 2. It's been on since the 7th, has 2 outs here in the 8th. Bigger lead now for Herrera at first base. And a foul by Bradley. Another check, and Herrera back to the bag. There he goes. Swinging a foul tip held onto by Yan Gomes. Red Sox have a 5-2 lead. We head to the 9th. It's Koji time. Wide selection of Green Mountain Coffee K-Cup packs will keep you running and guarantees to satisfy any fan base. Order by 11:30 a.m. and get free same-day delivery. Who but WB Mason? Ninth inning, Koji time from Fenway. 5-2, Red Sox have the lead. Uehara into his 28th game of the year, 1-1, a 0.65 earned run average. He is 13 for 13 in save opportunities, 38 Ks, 4 walks. Opponents hitting under 200 against him. And 179, got his 13th save on Tuesday at Baltimore. In the only game of the series, the Red Sox won. Ryan Rayburn leading it off here. 1 for 3, singled in the 6th inning. Ahead 2-0. For Uehara, it was his 16th straight scoreless appearance in Baltimore. In there for a strike, 2-1. "17 innings without giving up a run for Uehara." Battles back to even the count at 2-2.
Split finger fastball that time by Uehara to even the count at 2-2. Missed with a couple of fastballs to start off, but then that splitter gets things even.
Rayburn fouls it back. Don't miss Red Sox first pitch, presented by Men's Warehouse, proudly introducing Joseph Abood. TC and Wake will update the Brandon Workman suspension ruling. That's tomorrow at 6 p.m. on Nesson. Two-two pitch. On the ground, deep third. Holt plants and throws in time. One down in the 9th. Nice stretch on the other end by Napoli as well, and a ball that was up, but he gets there, one away.
Yeah, 2 very good plays. The one by Holt down at third base as he goes to the back end, very deep, almost on the outfield grass. And the stretch at first base by Napoli to get the big first out of the 9th inning.
One down for Nick Swisher. 0 for 3 tonight. He is struck out, flied out, reached on a fielder's choice. Fouled for strike 1. Two for 7 in his career against Uehara. It does include a home run. Uehara leading American League relievers in earned run average with a 0.65 coming in. Jumps ahead 0-2. Indians losing their last 2 games coming in, and down in this game 5-2 with 1 out in the 9th. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Swisher. 2 down in the 9th inning. First K for Koji.
That starts him off with fastballs, puts him away with the split finger fastball. I don't think this one was ever in the strike zone. It looked like it was low to begin with and then just dipped. And Ross had to pick it off the dirt.
So 2 down in the 9th inning. It is up to Yan Gomes here for the Indians. 2-hit night for the Indians catcher. He was single to right, had an infield hit to third. Outside for ball 1. Started him with a fastball at 89 miles an hour. Line foul back into the seats. Don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings Live right after the game. The guys will break down John Lester's start and have John Farrell's post-game comments. Can't go wrong when you buy right at WB Mason. 2 outs in the 9th, and Gomes waiting on a 1-1. Fouled off, 1-2. Fenway stands as one as Uehara is ahead 1-2 with 2 outs in the 9th. In the air, foul to the right. Uehara gets Rayburn to ground out to third. He strikes out Swisher. Now ahead 1-2. On the ground left side. A 2-hopper to Herrera. Throw to first. That's the ball game. The Red Sox in a much needed win at Fenway Park. They come home and they beat the Indians 5-2 behind Lester, Tozawa, and in the end it's Koji Uehara. Boston wins it 5-2. Big Papi chipping in with a 2-run home run. We'll step aside and come back with more from Fenway Park right after this.